I struggle each day with the idea that my country, the United States, cannot hold itself together enough to take care of a simple virus. And now this infection has created a pandemic and the loss of over 200,000 United States citizens. And in that, we the people of the United States are struggling in a battle where it is every man, woman, and child battling it on their own. My book, COVID Checklist / GoBox, is based on a simple idea. When a pilot takes off, he checks his checklist to make sure that all things are set to the best possible outcome. Now that we're in a pandemic and we're overstressed, we too need to make sure that we are checking that checklist for the best outcome, for the greatest success of survival. The COVID GoBox is there to help you make good decisions so that you can actively work on the future and take care of it and know that you're doing the best every moment. We, the people, have been asked to wear a mask. But have we actually been taught how to wear a mask? Do we actually know how to fit the mask over our face to ensure that it works well and filters out bad things? When we put the mask over our face, we need to make sure that there's a good seal all the way around. And then we need to check to make sure that seal is actually operating. So we breathe in with a little warm air. And we should feel around the edge of the mask on the inside warmth. And around the edge on the outside, it should be dry. But even more important than that is, does the mask actually operate properly? The only way to really know that for sure is to take your hand and place it over the top of the mask and then breathe out to make sure there's no holes in the mask. Because if there's holes in the mask, that means things are getting out and things are getting in. And that's not a very effective mask. Let's assume that you're going to walk through 100 people you don't know anything about. And then after you're done doing that, you walk to your car and then you take the mask off. You are now holding one of the most dangerous pieces of material that you could possibly hold in a pandemic. These masks were made for one-time use. They came from a sterile package and they were meant to be tossed. And yet, we use them day after day. So why are these masks so dangerous when you take them off? Well, when you walked through that crowd and you sucked air through that mask, it did what it was supposed to do. It pulled in dust, it pulled in fibers, it pulled in all sorts of things. And it also pulled in funguses and, of course, viruses. Then you breathe out with your nice warm air. And that warm air makes a hydroponic garden of your mask, where things can actually grow in that mask. So that if you were to touch the outside of this mask, when I get in the car, I immediately take off my mask, I set the thing down, and I immediately put a wipe over the top, some sort of sterile wipe to make sure that any organic material is broken down in that mask. And anything that could possibly grow is destroyed in that mask. Because when I put this mask on again, I want to make sure that it's sterile, like when I originally take it out of the box. But remember, this is not the only thing that you must do to protect yourself. Remember, there's that guy getting a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and you're outside sitting there, and you get in a conversation, and he's having trouble wearing his mask. He's on, off. And you're thinking, this is getting hazardous. But you still engage him. You say, maybe you want to take some time to sterilize your mask. And he retorts quickly and says, as long as you're wearing a mask, I cannot hurt you. Ignorance can kill you. When I go into a store, I don't just wear the mask. I make sure that my eyes are protected too. And I even go further than that because, well, I've learned that stuff falls from the sky, like viruses and dust. And so I put on the hat too. And if I need to, and it's really serious, I also have the coat. For I don't want to catch the virus. Because all these materials can stick to you. So when you're walking through those people, just think about it. Your mask is fibrous. Your hair is fibrous. And wow, as you walk, all those things stick to your hair. And different from a table, your hair and your head is nice and warm and more than adequate to create a great colony of viruses. Maybe multiple viruses, depending on how many people had how many different viruses. We have one more serious thing to talk about, and that is our hands. Our hands touch everything, and they touch us. They touch our mask. They touch all sorts of things. So when I go into a store or into a place, I immediately grab a wipe. And I just make sure I squeeze out the wipe if there's any excess. And I put it in my pocket. And then I take out the wipe and I put it in my other pocket. And the reason that you want to squeeze out the wipe ahead of time was you don't want to have that dribble down the side of your clothing, because it could give the impression that you might be having your Pampers leak. Sterilization of your hands by having this wipe in your pocket, switching, is a great way to ensure that your hands stay as sterile as possible. My COVID book is simply a checklist to make sure that you are going down the right path. It is COVID checklist / GoBox. The GoBox is what you put everything in to make sure that it always stays with you. Because sometimes emergencies do happen and you may be required to do more than you expected that day. Sanitizing everything is a great way to survive into the future. The checklist is there just to make sure that you take the time, like a pilot takes the time before takeoff, to make sure that he's got all of his ducks in the row so that he has the best possible outcome no matter the event. This is a checklist for you in the time of a pandemic.